Hello and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, October 30th, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Glenn Lal dodges police. President says PPPC not afraid of local government elections. Massey Group opens $10 million distribution center. Speaker flouting standing orders, says Clark. Couple in remigrant scheme scam can be extradited from US. And Canadian businessman buys hotel tower. We start off by telling you that the Guyana Police Force today confirms that attempts to make contact with the publisher of the Kaicho News, Glenn Lal, proved futile as they continue their investigations into the report he made against the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Anil Nandlal. The Guyana Police Force also confirmed that Lal has submitted 3 prepared statements as well as an audio recording and a transcript of that recording in relation to the report made. The police investigators in this matter have identified a number of issues in the prepared statements that require clarification. They have since made several attempts to contact Lal in order to have this done, but their efforts have proven futile. The police also stated that on Wednesday, A Division Commander Clifton Hicking wrote to Lal advising that he subject himself to a police interview in order to address the required clarification. However, up to late this afternoon, Lal had not presented himself for the interview, nor had he made contact with the divisional commander regarding the correspondence which was sent to his office. The police also made telephone contact with the senior Kaicho News reporter Leonard Gildari in order to interview him concerning the matter. However, he has so far shown reluctance in meeting with the police. The Guyana Police Force reiterated that without the clarification regarding the statements made by Lal, it would be severely limited in its pursuit of this investigation. President Donald Ramotar on Wednesday reiterated that the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration was not afraid of local government elections and was confident that it would win. Bashar Mohammed reports.
President Donald Ramotar at the opening of the National Two-House Conference on Wednesday declared that his government is not afraid of local government elections.
Let me say here again that we are not afraid of local government elections. We will win the local government elections whenever we have.
President Ramotar also dismissed claims that the government was avoiding the constitutionally due elections because of fear of losing.
Local government elections from 1994, they impeded it in every way. Up to 2010, they asked for a postponement of local government elections. And when the arithmetic changed in the National Assembly, they reneged on some of the agreements that we had before. They voted in the Parliament year after year, and now we're hearing them talking about the unconstitutionality of the election.
Amid AFC's call for a no-confidence motion against the government, which is supported by APNU, Ramotar said it would not be prudent to set a date for local government elections at this time.
One party got a no-confidence motion, and the other party publicly said that they will support that motion. Well, I will be rightly ridiculed by any right-thinking person if faced with such a situation that our minister goes to announce a date for local government elections.
Also in his remarks to the two shows, President Ramotar clearly stated that the opposition does not care about the people and development of the country.
They cut the Amerindian development capital budget. They've cut money from the Ministry of Works that deals with refixing the airstrips in the interior area. They have cut money to lend poor people, including the Amerindian community, students who go to the University of Guyana to get student loans.
The opening of the National Two-House Conference was held at the International Conference Center. The yearly event assembles Amerindian village leaders throughout Guyana as they discuss various issues arising in the interior regions of Guyana. Bashar Mohammed, Evening News.
A US-based Guyanese couple who allegedly facilitated Glenn Lal in defrauding the state of millions of dollars in taxes on the importation of 2 luxury vehicles through the remigrant scheme could be extradited from the United States of America. More from Royden James.
Remigrant couple Nautandio and Garbasi Bridgenanan had fled the jurisdiction almost immediately following an investigation that was launched against Glenlal for allegedly defrauding the government of millions in taxes. Although the couple was charged on several counts of tax fraud, they were not present at the first hearing of the court case when it was called. The Evening News was told that authorities here have been trying to locate the couple and could move towards activating the extradition treaty Guyana has with the United States to have the couple brought back here and charged. Sources at the Guyana Revenue Authority believes that the absent couple could possibly stall the case, which could temporarily let Lal off the hook. Glenn Lal and his wife Bina Lal is jointly charged with the couple. A source told this newscast, and I quote, "We are looking at ways in which we can get the couple to stand in court, and extradition is definitely an option." End of quote. Guyana has a valid extradition treaty with the United States, which was amended back in 2009 to correct a gap that had prevented Guyana from extraditing fugitives wanted in the United States. The tax regulatory body is claiming that a migrant couple of number 61 Village Quarantine Berbies had imported two Lexus LX570 motor vehicles into Guyana. However, the two vehicles were not kept or used by the migrants, and Garbassi reportedly does not have a driver's license. This is in breach of the Customs Act and the conditions of the grant of the duty-free concession. The Guyana Revenue Authority has said that investigations had revealed that the vehicles were being driven by Lal and his wife, and they were seized at a house in Nandi Park. The four persons are charged with 2 joint counts of knowingly committing fraudulent evasion of import duties. Royden James, reporting for the Evening News.
More than 5 months after Hotel Tower was closed, Canadian businessman Mike Musgrove today announced that he is the new owner of the hotel. Alexis Rodney reports.
President of the Panther Recycling Corporation, Mike Musgrove, says he is hoping to have the hotel opened by December of this year. At a press conference earlier today to announce the accomplishment, Musgrove says although the initiative is his personal investment, it will soon be transferred to the Panther Recycling Corporation. In addition to the hotel, Musgrove told reporters that the company has also arranged the purchase of 200 acres of land on the Linden-Soestdijk Highway.
We have taken it through our group to redevelop that site as a hotel, make it the landmark one that it was once upon a time, and try to bring a fresh look back to the downtown. With an investment of over $8 million of my money and an additional $1 to $2 million worth of refurbishing, we can have one of the nicest hotels in downtown Georgia.
Financiers behind the project, Musgrove said, include Scotiabank and Lenders Direct, Toronto, Canada. The edifice was bought from Salim Aziz, who is now a shareholder in the company. Aziz and the hotel's past management came under fire earlier this year for failing to compensate its employees. The hotel was closed soon after.
If there's a corporation, you just got $8 million from me on this corporation to do what you need to do. As far as I'm concerned, you should be paying your bills. It's not for me to make him pay his bills or not pay his bills. But I can suggest if you're getting that kind of money, there should be some action that can be taken to ensure that those people are being paid. And I fully agree with that.
Musgrove said he is trying to keep the tower as part of the name change, which will definitely happen.
I have a great interest in trying to keep the tower as part of the name, but I think because, and I've talked to several people about this in the last couple of days, I think we have to rebrand it in some way, shape, or form, not because Georgetown or because Guyana doesn't have a great respect for the tower, because we all know it was one great facility at one time, but unfortunately the internet has been very mean to that hotel. And if we want it to take another life, we must look at a way to maybe incorporate the name Georgetown Tower or something that will reflect that.
For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Royden James now reports that a Neil and Massey group of companies in Guyana was yesterday officially rebranded as Massey as the company officially opened its $10 million distribution center.
The Neil and Massey group of companies, which was an umbrella company for Get This Grant Limited, Demerara Oxygen Company, and CCS Stores, was on Wednesday officially rebranded to Massey Industries, a move that will see all of its subsidiaries being changed to Massey. The rebranding comes as the regional conglomerate opened a $10 million distribution facility at Montrose, East Coast, Demerara. Massey Guyana Chief Executive Officer Dear Prasad said that the transformation is an exciting event for the team and the country.
This is an exciting time for our team, and dare I say, for the country, as we transform ourselves and as we fulfill our purpose of being a force for good creating value, and transforming life in this country.
Also speaking at the event was the Finance Minister, Dr. Rashni Singh, who commended the executives for placing such confidence in Guyana's sustainability by investing in the economy.
And I want to thank the principals of the Massey Group, Gervais, you and your board, the group board in Trinidad and Tobago, the other members of the executive, the leadership of the group subsidiary in Guyana, the holding company in Guyana, and the leadership of the subsidiaries in Guyana. I wish to thank you for this very strong expression of confidence in Guyana.
The company believes that redefining its brand will somewhat strengthen the cooperation that is already evident throughout all of its subsidiaries. In addition, it will also provide customers with an enhanced sense of loyalty, knowing that all of the companies are linked. The rebranding maximizes marketing efficiency by powerfully connecting the equity of strong subsidiary brands with a corporate brand. Royden James, reporting for the Evening News.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. Svetlana Marshall reports now that head of the Presidential Secretariat, Dr. Roger Luncheon, has announced that a Kitty Health Center will be relocated to a new building at Pike and Alexander Streets in Georgetown. He made a disclosure at his weekly post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday.
The Kitty Health Center, which is currently operating from a rented building at Sandy Bath Street, will be relocated to the Kitty Post Office in Pike and Alexander Streets. The healthcare center operated from the top flat of the Kitty Market building. However, due to the abandonment of the building by the Georgetown City Council, the center had to be moved.
Since the abandonment of the Kitty Market facility by the Georgetown City Council, Kitty has been without a replacement health center.
Dr. Luncheon said the Kitty Post Office will be dismantled and reconstructed to facilitate both the health center and the post office under one unit.
During construction, the postal services in Kitty being carried out at the neighboring, adjoining Campbellville Post Office.
The Health Ministry had brought to Cabinet's attention for consideration the relocation of the health center to the Kitty Post Office. The project is expected to cost $60 million and will commence before the end of 2014 and extend to 2015.
Clerk of the National Assembly, Sherlock Isaacs, has defied the order by Speaker Raphael Trotman to fix a date for the reconvening of Parliament, instead upholding the parliamentary standing orders. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
The Clerk of the National Assembly has insisted that the power to reconvene Parliament lies in the hands of government. But the Speaker disagrees, saying that the country is faced with a clear and unvarnished constitutional crisis and that all stakeholders will have to work together to resolve it. Speaker Trotman had written Clerk Isaacs earlier this week, instructing him to set November 6 as the date for the House to reconvene. The clerk then consulted with his Caribbean colleagues and on Wednesday responded to the Speaker that doing such will be contrary to the standing orders. He had proffered the same opinion earlier when the Speaker had asked his views on the matter, citing two previous similar requests that were turned down. Trotman, in a letter to the press last evening, said he was notified by the clerk that his request for the National Assembly to be reconvened on Thursday, November 6, could not be given effect because he is of the view that the Speaker lacks the authority to convene sittings of the National Assembly under Standing Order 8, 1 and 2. Trotman, however, insisted that the National Assembly must resume sittings and cannot be bound by the whims of the executive branch to await its consent before meeting. He said such an interpretation flies in the face of the doctrine of separation of powers and the constitutional right of the elected representatives to meet to perform their functions. Since its last sitting in July earlier this year, members of the National Assembly have not yet met. The Alliance for Change has been pushing for Parliament to be convening, especially since the party has some pertinent matters, including the no-confidence motion, high on its agenda to be dealt with. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Queen's College student Elisa Hamilton copped 3 top awards as the Education Ministry honored the cream of the crop during its National Awards ceremony today. Svetlana Marshall was there and filed this report.
Amid much fanfare at the National Cultural Centre, more than 34 students and 4 schools from across Guyana were given due recognition for their outstanding performance in 15 categories. In the presence of President Donald Ramotar, Education Minister Priya Manikchan, the Chief Education Officer Olata Sam, and a packed audience, New Guyana School Jarrell De Santos, Alia Mohammed of School of the Nations, and Ravi Singh from Westfield Prep were presented with trophies for outperforming their colleagues in the 2014 National Grade 6 Assessment. In the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Best Junior Secondary Performers category, Barty Brutch, who graduated with 17 grade 1s from the Skeldon Lang Path Secondary School, received the top prize. 3 other students received awards in this category.
Tricia Ketwaru, also from Skeldon Lang Path Secondary, 16 grade 1s and 1 grade 2. Walaika Diokanandan from Saraswati Vidyanaketan, 15 grade 1s, 2 grade 2s, and 1 grade 2. Natasha Aladdin from JC Chandy Singh, 15 grade 1s.
But it was Queen's College Elisa Hamilton who stole the spotlight. Hamilton gained 20 grade 1s and 1 grade 2 in this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate. She led the batch of 6 students who were honored as the country's best senior secondary school performers. Additionally, she was deemed the best C-Sec performer and the most outstanding performer. Her colleague Larissa Wilshire, who was among the best senior C-Sec performers, was praised for being the best science performer. In the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination Best Performers category, Deawat Narang, Cecil Cox, Andy Saturn, Prashat Shivdas, Kadeshwar Singh, and Bentik Sukra, all of whom are from Queen's College, were presented with trophies. However, it was Deowati Narayan who received the Best K Performer Award after gaining 6 grade 1s and 1 grade 2. 6 students from the Carnegie School of Home Economics received awards, while another batch of 6 was honored due to their outstanding performance in the Ghana Technical Education Examination. Sean Davis from Linden Technical Institute copped the top spot in the Government Technical Education Program. The Best CPC Award went to Duvina Badre from the Anna Regina Center Primary, while a special prize went to Rosemary Ramit, who despite her blindness copped 5 grade 1s. In addition to Elisa Hamilton, special awards went to Ryan Chad of Queen's College, who gained 13 subjects in business education, Alia Abdul Kadir, who copped 15 subjects in the area of humanities, and Krishan Krichlu of New Amsterdam Secondary with 12 subjects in the area of technological vocational education. Meanwhile, Ramakrishna Primary was identified as the most improved primary school, while East Rheinveld Secondary and Zeeburg Secondary received awards for being the most improved junior secondary schools. President's College was deemed the most improved senior secondary school.
A man and a woman were robbed of an undisclosed sum of cash and valuables earlier today in the vicinity of Courts Main Street in Georgetown. The robbery was committed by 2 men on a CG motorcycle. According to bystanders, the robbers rode up on Main Street Avenue and stopped in front of Courts, where one of them snatched a bag from the man in the presence of the woman. The man put up a fight, but a gunman discharged a round in the air, forcing him to let go of the bag. Shortly after, a policeman appeared on the scene and took statements from the victims. From all indications, the robbers tailed the couple from the bank where they did a transaction. The couple were too distressed to speak to the media, beyond confirming that aside from the cash, there was a quantity of jewelry in the bag. The police are continuing their investigations. More news ahead. Stay tuned. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. President Donald Ramotar said the People's Progressive Party civic government will continue to invest heavily in the education sector, contending that an investment in the nation's children is an investment in the future. Here's Svetlana Marshall.
As he applauded the more than 34 awardees for their outstanding performance at their various examinations, President Donald Ramotar said the rapid changes unfolding in the world create a greater need for heavy investment in the education sector. Under the PPP administration, Ghana, he said, would not be left behind, positing that the country will continue to invest in its human capital.
The changing nature of professions, the new tools that we have to deal with, the whole question of globalization that is bringing our world closer and closer together, the revolution in science and technology and its application directly into production and into the economy of our country is extremely important.
Boasting of the achievements made under the PPPC administration, the president said Ghana has moved from a highly indebted country to a middle-income developing nation. As a result of the investments made thus far, he pointed out that Ghana has already achieved universal primary education and is currently on the path of achieving universal secondary education.
If you look at our budgets over the year, you will see that our major investment has been in the area that affect masses of people the most in our social sector. We have more than 30% of our budget going to...
Meanwhile, Education Minister Priya Manichan said she is pleased that traditionally known outstanding primary and secondary schools are being joined by new ones. This, she said, is a direct result of equal opportunities provided to all schools despite their location.
When I look at this program, which you all have too, before you, and the names that we're going to celebrate, it really speaks to how universally our policies and programs are applied and rolled out. There was a time when any celebration here or by the Ministry of Education really involved a very limited number of students from limited geographical locations and schools. So when I was in primary school, I could have boasted that I came from the best primary school, Stella Maris. Are we still the best? Stella Maris? Ha! See? And that's the right answer. There is no one best school anymore. When I went to school, all the children who got Queen's College, and everybody used to fight to get Queen's College because that was the premier school, came from Stella Maris or St. Margaret's, and we had a sprinkling from some other Georgetown schools like St. Gabriel's and St. Agnes, maybe one or two from St. Angela's. Everybody else went to school in their regions, and that's not so anymore. Now when we announce the National Grade 6 exams, we're announcing students in the top 2% from Cropper in Region 6, and Skeldon, and Anna Regina, and Soddy, and Lenora, and Cornelia Ida, and Linden, and we're announcing Arapaima in Region 9. Students from all over this country.
Both the President and the Education Minister were addressing a packed audience at the National Cultural Center at the National Awards ceremony.
Two lucky shoppers at Courts Guyana Inc. earlier today won $400,000 each as part of the furniture store's Frigidaire promotion. Marlon Chapman and Teresa Siram were declared the winners in the first fortnightly draw of the month. They had each purchased a Frigidaire refrigerator. The customers related their surprise when they were first contacted by courts. The happy customers at the time did not have any plans on how they intend to spend the money. Kwesi Dummett was named the third weekly winner of the promotion, which ends tomorrow. Courts will be giving out a total of $1.6 million during the promotion, which started on October 1. Former presidential advisor on sustainable development Navin Chandapal will be cremated on Sunday at the Good Hope Crematorium. His body will be available for viewing at the lawns of the Guyana International Conference Centre at Liliendal from 11 hours, thence to the crematorium at 14 hours. Chandapal lost his battle with cancer on Tuesday last at his home. He was first diagnosed with the deadly disease in 2012, which saw him receiving medical treatment abroad. A wake for Chandapal will be held every evening up to and including on Saturday, November 1 at his home at Lot 18, Block I, Gutfawakting, East Coast, Demerara. Stay tuned, your regional, international and bridge reports are next. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. In the region, the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard is searching off St. Martin for the co-pilot of a small US-based cargo plane that crashed into the sea late on Wednesday shortly after takeoff. Authorities say that they have recovered the body of one of the two pilots who were on board the Skyway Enterprises plane when it went down about 3 miles from shore. The cause of the crash is unknown. The Coast Guard said in a statement that the twin-engine SH-36 aircraft was en route to Puerto Rico. Skyway Enterprises is based in Kissimmee, Florida, and was operating under contract with FedEx. Private volunteers and Netherlands Royal Marines are taking part in the search. Internationally, a U.S. nurse who returned from treating Ebola patients in Sierra Leone has defied a quarantine order, leaving her house in Maine for a brief bike ride. Casey Hickox maintains isolation is unnecessary as she has no symptoms and has tested negative for Ebola. Maine officials have vowed to go to court to try to enforce the quarantine. Nearly 5,000 people have died of the disease in West Africa, but only 9 patients have been treated for the virus on U.S. soil. More than 13,700 people have been sickened in total, the vast majority in Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea. Ebola, which is only spread through close contact with the bodily fluids of a sick patient, has an incubation period of up to 21 days, during which patients neither show symptoms nor are infectious. U.S. officials are at odds over whether American healthcare workers who returned from treating Ebola patients in West Africa should be forced into quarantine until that period has expired. This is Evening News. In case you've just joined us, it's now time for us to take a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 10 hours 30 on Friday, October 31 for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Burberry Silver Bridge is expected to be closed from 9 hours 50 on Friday, October 31 for a period of 1.5 hours. Join us after the break for sports, sponsored by Marcorp. This is the Evening News.